Welcome back to HamsterChef DevLog. In this devlog, we're tackling a big step, rigging our character, and getting it ready for Unreal Engine. The plan was to handle rigging myself. In the past, I'd commissioned rig like for our Squirrel character, for example, but that made it harder for me to fix issues when they came up. So this time, I wanted to learn, experiment, and truly own the process from start to finish. And actually, to be honest, if you see that the footage of the squirrel is from Maya, that is correct. I want to transition from Maya to Blender mostly just because of the licensing stuff. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to pay Autodesk anymore. I usually use Maya when I works on my official job, but this one I want to use Blender. Let's start by fixing things. I instantly detect that the leg is going to be a problem again. Even though I redo the leg like 3 times now, I realized that between the thigh and the calf, it's still a merge. So of course I revised it so it's separate. I started by bringing both of the hamster and the old squirrel model into Blender just to compare their scales and the proportions. My first challenge was understanding how Blender's rigging setup compares to Maya. For example, I found out that in Blender, what I really needed was an empty object, not a collection. I usually use collection. I use that to group things properly, like I would in Maya. For example, I group all of the geometry separate from the bones and separate from the controllers.
I'll show you another way. And you say it's a one.
And then I began setting up the rig. I fired up AutoRigPro. I selected all parts of the mesh, including parts like the body, and then just go with the flow with the AutoRigPro. I went through adding the key rig points because the AutoRigPro asked for it, and then I add the points for the facials. Here I added the mouths, I add the eyes, and then there's some more like the chin, I guess, and this is the brow. But at that time I really confused because the hamster doesn't have a brow, but I think I did just went with it. But the first try does not go very well. I forgot that we need a tongue, so right now the hamster doesn't have a tongue. So I go ahead and make one from a cube and then continue from here. I redo the rig process again. AutoRigPro turns out fairly straightforward. Just position all of the guiding points and then press go. And then now we adjust all of the ref bones, adjust the leg positions, adjust the spine positions, adjust the arms, and adjust the fingers, don't forget. So yeah, just adjust everything within the ref bones, make sure all within its volumes of the mesh, and then just press match the rig. That is the initial setup. Now we got controllers, but it doesn't properly match our models, so we need to adjust that. For example, this hand we need a little bit bigger than the hand itself, so we just hit edit shape, and then when we finish just hit apply shape. That way we get our controllers properly sized, and we do that for all of our controllers. And don't worry, make sure the other side has the same size of the controller shapes that we have edited. There's a mirror custom shape button besides the edit shape button. Using the add limb button, I also created the bones for the hamster's small tails and ears to allow simple movement. The process is all basically the same, just add the ref bones and then adjust the controllers and then just press the mirror custom shapes and we got the ears.
Friends, and soon enough there come a weekend when we just stop bringing up.
Then came scanning. I just used the default bind button on the AutoRigPro. Basically just select the controllers and then shift select the body and then press bind. It's not perfect, so I weight painted the mesh, clean up the influence, and just test out the deformation in post mode. I made sure the limbs bent correctly and the skinning was just smooth. No, there's no weird twists or broken joints. Basically there are, but I just consider it's good enough. Then in weight paint mode, there's a transfer weight menu. I just use that to transfer my weight paint from the body to the other hamster mesh. By the end of the session, the hamster's rig was done, the mesh deformed well, and I saved the auto file, ready for the next step, exporting to Unreal Engine. But not yet. I forgot that we need the hat, and I actually having a lot of problems when exporting to Unreal, and I will explain just a second. So we are now live in Blender. I want to show you guys what all of the issue that I've been facing just to export to Unreal. It's been difficult, but I did get through. So first thing first, if we usually just want to export things from Blender, we just use select things, select the armature, and then file, export, FBX, and then make sure we hit selected object and then hit export FBX. That is usually works, but if we are using AutoRigPro, the naming convention is not kinda correct. So actually it would work, but I want to use Unreal naming convention. If you know the terms Unreal skeleton, you might also see it when you go to Unreal Marketplace or Fab now. In the bottom details, usually we see if the characters is rigged to Unreal skeleton or rigged to Unreal 5 skeleton or both. So I want to use that basically because I want to use like the auto full body IK with the Unreal built-in IK tools. I want to be able to transfer some animation even though the skeleton is not immediately the same, even just remotely the same. I want to be able to do that. And for just tidiness sake, so we have the same naming convention in all of our characters. Especially that naming would be useful if we attach or detach to the bones or something. That being said, we cannot just export, then AutoRigPro has the solution to it. So the solution was here, export FBX. So if we hit export FBX, we hit Unreal Engine, Humanoid, and then we check rig. There's no issue found. That means that is safe to say. And then I use UE4 Legacy, rename for UE, and then if we hit AutoRigPro, there's a problem. So it said that this is not a humanoid rig. It contains duplicated limbs or non-humanoid limbs. Switch to universal instead. I don't want to switch to universal, so let's try and fix that. First thing first, they say we need to have humanoid bones, but this is not human. So what I'm going to do is basically just actually marking it. So let's go to post mode. Let's select our ears and then set custom bones. Custom bone set. I think we can just select all of this that we need. Maybe select the tails as well. Do we have any other controller? No? Oh yes, of course. Oh, already. Okay. As long as all of this selected, I guess we set custom bones. Let's try one more time. We still has duplicated limbs. Okay, so the duplicated limbs is this one, the cheeks. So let's not use cheeks for now. Let's go to edit reference bone. Let's select this and then disable, and we should eliminate the duplicated limbs and then match the rig. We are back, and then maybe save, and then let's export once more. Character now successfully exported, but there's a problem now. We don't have a cheeks and we don't have any hat. Let's go to whip 16. This is almost the final. This cheek was actually in the facial controller before, so I just move it here. So we have cheek now. And then this ear, still the same. And then I did use custom joints called hat. So before I build hat, I add limb and spine, but cannot. We can only have one spine, and if we use tail like this, we cannot rename the tail to hat. So actually, I'm stuck with the option that I need to manually add the hat. So I confused, right? I never rigged before in Blender. I scoured the internet, I scoured the YouTube tutorials. So it turns out we can just have things like this. So I add this hat is basically just a joints. So if we add joints, Shift A, and then we instantly have this. So hat, because we name hat just now, Shift A, we can rename it to hats. It will be hats, see? And turns out we just need this. What I did is basically just use this hat and then put it into the deform mode. So if we click claim option, there's no parameters because this is our limbs. This is our custom hat. So these two hat, I just assign it to deform, and then what I do is I also make the controllers for this hat. So I'm just going to skip the work and just let me open the final one that I have finished. So this one is basically originally copied from this. So this one, the hat controller, I duplicate this, I made this, and if we see the deform rig, yeah, like that. Maybe I think we can see it like here. Okay, so I use a modifier or constraint. Yeah. Oh, I use this constraint, not stretch. Oh yeah, so I use these bone constraints called child of. So I add this and then I just pick the rig is the armature, I guess. If I'm not mistaken, I just need to click this and then add the rig. And then I use the bones, and the bones is this one, the B bones hat 02, and that is not actually a bone, it's actually a controller. Blender. See, nah, this is it. So this is the actually not a bone but a controller bone. So that is being the parent or the child of constraint of this one. So basically this is just a parent constraint if you are from my. That's how I understand things. I go from my and then just translate it into Blender. But that is basically it. Now I have hat. I have hat rig, and now the rigging part is actually done. Alright, now after we've done the rigging and we have sure that we already finished, everything's fine, let's just export it. For FBX, export in the all mesh. This is my naming. This is combination of the project name, character names, and the scale mesh as its suffix. I did choose Unreal Humanoid, and I did rename for UE, so all of this naming becomes UE names, Unreal skeleton names, and just hit AutoRig export. Character successfully exported. We just need to import them into Unreal. First thing first, let's make a folder and rename it Hamster. And let's make all of the necessary folder. The first one is animation, second one is materials, and the third one is meshes, and the fourth one is texture. I'm going to import scale mesh. Let the skeleton be none, so we don't share the same skeleton, but I will still benefit of the naming convention. So Squirrel body is actually a good material that we already set up before. So here is the material of Squirrel body. It's a basic material. There's a base color multiplier. There's the saturation setting, Fresnel to lift up the edge, and there's a subsurface connected to subsurface, PBR settings, and some base color texture parameter sampler. And this is actually the key that makes the FBX importer knows what texture to plug in when it's got imported from the FBX. So this setting is fairly new, I think in Untitled 5.4, and it automatically detects and it plugs in the base color. If we hit import all, that is should correctly set up all the files that we needed. So materials, let's move it to materials. The texture base color, move it to the textures, and we left with the hamster scale mesh, and it's imported successfully. All of the colors are connected correctly. Now let me show you the benefits of using Unreal Skeleton. So say that I want to share animation. So I have this squirrel character before that I always use, and we have this squirrel walk animation. I want to reuse it for our hamster. So this animation is animated by our friend called Abdul, and it also have walk jump animation. It's really great animation. And let's retarget this. So let's close this and select retarget animation and select hamster skeleton. We can see that it's almost there. We just have the feeds wrongly retargeted. So let's first create our retarget assets. So this is where the animation folder comes in. Let's create an, what is it? Yeah? Retargeter, IK retargeter. Let's call this to hamster underscore RTG. That's how I usually name this. And now we have two slots here. We are going to populate with squirrel, and the below are for our hamster. Let's create the IK rig for our hamster. Is very easy. Just right click on our skeletal mesh, right click, and create IK rig. And this is our IK rig. Since our name are Unreal name, we can easily press this. It automatically detected, and it's with 100% accuracy. Very good, right? And let's hit auto create IK. And now we have full body IK correctly set up for us. See? Very good, right? And that is skinning problem where we need to fix it in Blender, but the full body IK is actually very correct. So we can say that bye-bye. We can tell our hamster to hi, 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 hi. We can tell our hamster to rave. Okay, now let's just retarget. So let's go back to our retargeter and set our second target, second slot, which is target 1 to hamster. We can offset this to the right, and if we check our walk, it's almost there. Walk jump, it's really good. So we can go on and on about this. So we can basically just adjust everything here. So maybe let's adjust the IK, how it's got interpolated. Is it 1-to-1? It's going to affect on how it's animated, or it's interpolated, or let's not use rotation, everything like that. So let's skip the work. So I tinker a lot with this, and I don't know 100% how to do this correctly. But here is the finished product, and let's check our retargeter in this version. We can see that the walk is very good. I also set up the hat, so I actually just need to specify another head hat bone chain, and the chin. I added the chin. So the squirrel one had his chin moving, animated. So when we use this one, it's actually moving the chin to move. This is perfect. Okay, that's how we set up our characters. This is way a long way to go to have a more perfect animation, but it's perfect for us, and we can start programming a lot more with the gameplay. Now we have two characters. We can set up two characters gameplay, and we can create character selection since we have different characters now, and etc, etc. And I think that's it. Like the video, subscribe, follow us on our social media. See you in the next devlog, see you in the next content. And again, thanks for watching.